Hello, Mr. Kassim. Kassim, please can you hear us? Hello, can you confirm that you can hear us? Hmm. Okay, so I call up for have you been able to help Debola with his connection?
She was not online when I messaged her, but I dropped a video for her to find her. Yeah.
All right, no problem. All right, thank you, Kassim. Sorry, we are expecting a couple of people to join in, and you can get the class started as soon as possible. So yeah, people are joining in already. We just give people 3 more minutes, right? And thereafter we will get started. Immediately it's 12:10. We are going to get started with an icebreaker, which is essentially like a game, right? So once you're done with the icebreaker, we are hoping that more people will come in. If they don't come in, we just go straight up into class and we won't have to wait for anybody, right? So I only received one person's assignment. Yes, I didn't receive every other person's assignment. I only received one person's assignment. And so one thing I want us to know is that anytime we get what's it called? Anytime we get assignments or quizzes, what I'm expecting is that beyond what you're taught in class, right? Because no matter what you try to learn inside of tech, a single course or a single tech school will not teach you everything that you need to know. You need to be able to go beyond what you've been taught inside the course or what you've been taught inside school, right? Or inside the tech school essentially, so that you can expand the range of your knowledge, right? So it won't be enough. What you're learning in class won't always be enough. So you need to go beyond. So that's why I gave you questions. And the questions I gave you are some of the things that we'll be learning in class today, essentially. So those questions I've not taught you before, but I intentionally included it as part of your assignment so that you would actually go a bit and research. So when you're coming to class today, it's not difficult for you to get the concept. It becomes much more easier. And that's actually what I'm going to be doing from now on. I'll make sure that I put inside part of your assignment something that we didn't teach you in class so that you can go online and go to search. And you're lucky enough nowadays you have a lot of resources that are available for you that you can make use of, right? So make use of the resources that you have online. Don't wait until they teach you in class. Make use of the resources you have online, and yeah, it will go a long way in helping you. So yes, I mentioned that we are going to be starting with an icebreaker once it's 12:10, and it's 12:10 already. So we are going to be starting with a quick icebreaker. Don't it? It's just 10 questions, right? 10 questions, 10 minutes. No, I don't like the fact that it's 10 minutes. I'm going to be changing the time. All right, so essentially, the plan is that, yeah, I love the 7 minutes, 8 minutes. I need a number of reduced minutes. 7 minutes. Difficulty is normal. Difficulty is simple. Uh, okay, minutes, please. Let's do classic. Classic is 5 minutes. Yes. So basically, there are just a couple of questions that you just have to think about it. If this one is to be like this, how will it go? So you have 30 seconds for each question. 10 questions, right? 10 questions, and then you have 1 minute, no, 5 minutes to answer 10 questions. So I'm going to be for you to join and also the game ID, right? So you know how we did it last week. That's just how we are going to do it again this week. So try again. What's going on? Classic posts. So
Ma,
you know how we did it last week. It's just the same way we did it last week that we're going to do it again. Um, yeah, very good. So you will get the link inside your you're getting the link now. To check the chat box, I will see when you have joined. Let's have a very quick brain refresher to actually just quickly juggle your brain a bit. So start clicking on it. When you click on it, here is the game ID. Right? So if you have any questions, please you can drop it in the chat box. Mr. Kolapo will be in the chat box to answer your questions. Right. He's also your teacher, so he's here for every one of you, and he'll be in the chat box to answer all questions. Right. So that's the game. Just click on the link and use the game ID.
ma, what do you say?
Click on the link in the chat. I've placed the link in the chat, and then they will ask you for a game pin. The game pin is the second number that I placed inside the chat box.
Ma, where is the link? Where should I click on the
It's
link?
inside the chat box. It's inside this chat. This chat. Just look at the chat. Inside this
I've
meeting.
not sent it to me.
Inside this
Inside
meeting.
the chat, inside the meeting, come to your meeting and go to chat.
So
The
I'm on
message
the
box.
meeting already.
Come to the message that we did use last week. Molara.
So, message.
Yeah, that we used last week. The way we did it last week is the way we are doing it again this week. Have you
Okay,
seen
sir.
it?
Yes, sir. I've seen it.
Okay. Click the link.
Ah.
I will know when you have joined because I'm seeing it from my end. So please let's join the game. Nobody has joined yet. Okay, somebody has joined. Okay, I'm waiting for the rest of us. Please let's join. Covenant, please join the game. Who is Silver Tema? Is that Covenant or Debola? Okay, second person has joined. Kasim, please can you join the game as well?
Auntie Tolani,
Yes, Covenant.
I'm having problem with it. So
What did you say?
What?
let me share my screen so you see.
Alright. Okay, have you seen the chat box? Yeah, in call messages. Yeah. Why thank you.
Click the link.
Yes.
Choose.
I've already linked it.
Alright, no problem. Yeah, Covenant, just proceed. Yeah, it's PC stuff. So just proceed. Click on that continue button. Yes.
I've not linked.
I can see.
I don't understand what this has to do. I've not linked it.
No, yeah, I can already see you. Don't worry.
Okay.
Is this
Ma, where will I start? Ma, where will I start?
You are not starting. I'm starting from here. So when I start, you
Okay,
start
ma.
seeing the questions.
Okay, ma.
So Covenant, you can stop sharing your screen. I'm going to start the game now. Yeah.
As after going,
All right. All right. I started the game, so you should start seeing it on your end.
oh,
Please answer the questions as fast as possible. Make sure that you're not wasting time.
I'm not seeing any question.
wait, who is that? Who is not seeing any question?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Who? Omolara,
That me. Yes, sir.
did
Are
you
you on
click
your
the?
game? Are you on your game environment? If you're on your game environment, you see a question.
You see a question? No, everybody is seeing a question.
Are you on your game environment? If you are, you should see a question.
Did you click the
Yes,
link?
ma.
Did you click the link?
Yes, I click the link.
Did you input the game code 2497104? Have you pressed it
Huh?
on the
That one is a true what?
2497104?
Are you,
Is the
Debola? Are you where
game
you're
code?
supposed to be?
9010.
If you stayed on that game link, you are still supposed to be able to see it.
Can you share your screen so we'll see what's going on?
Debola, share your screen. I've paused the game. I'm waiting for you. Please share your screen.
Auntie Toluwani,
Yes,
Yeah.
Covenant.
is my own showing pixel stuff?
Yeah, I
Pixel.
can. I can see yours. Yeah, I can see yours. You've been clicking answers. But I've not been seeing Debola clicking answers, and then I've not been seeing Kasim to clicking answers. Debola, please share your screen. We are waiting for you.
I'm having challenges joining the game.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Are you using the link and then the game code? Because I just clicked the link and the game code as well. I just even clicked the link. You don't even need the game code. It won't ask you for the
Yeah.
game code. Immediately you click the link,
The link.
it will actually lead you to where you're supposed to join from. So okay. Debola, click that, go and click the link again, Debola. No, click the link. Let it direct you from your chat. Let it direct you from inside your
Not this chart. It's not this
Debola,
chart. Oh.
return to Google Meet.
Hmm?
Return to Google Meet.
Yes, Google.
Return to where you are coming from, where you were before when you started sharing your screen.
Okay, ma. I'm there, ma.
Alright, I want you to click this menu. Those dots. No, Debola, wait first. Go back. You were already there. You were already there. So go back.
Okay, ma.
Yes, there.
Yes.
We click on that. Yes, that link, that meeting at the top. You were inside just now. So we click on it.
Okay, ma.
Now, these three, can you see that hand that is beneath your screen? That hand. I want you to click on the one beside it.
Ma, hard.
There's an hand. There's something that is showing an hand. There's one hand that you can see. It's an hand icon. I want you to click on the one beside that hand icon.
Okay, yes, ma. Click the hand.
No, not the hand.
It's
The
not the
one
hand.
beside
Oh.
it.
Okay, ma.
The three dots. Three
Click in
dots.
call messages. The first one in call
Inform
messages.
messages.
Yes, ma. Click it.
I will send the link again. Debola, click on that link. No, go back to that place. Don't go to messages. That's what I'm talking about. Go to in-call messages. Stay there. Click that link.
Yes,
Stay
ma'am.
there. That link. Eh,
Click on the first link.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright. Click on the button. Click on that forward button that you are seeing. Click on it.
the
I've clicked
arrow.
on.
The arrow that you can see. Click on it.
Ma, it's showing loading.
Let it load. Click on it again. Click on that arrow again.
I've clicked on it.
Just wait for it. Click on join. Click on join at the top. Debola, can you see join at the top? Click on join at the top.
Yes, ma'am. No, I'm clicking on it too.
Use another name. Click on new name
Okay, new name.
and then click on join. I want you to reload it. Reload it.
That name is already taken.
Alright. That's you,
Yes, ma'am.
Debola. So I'll resume the game now. I want to see if you're in. It's waiting for me. Covenant, you're waiting for me too, right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. That
Alright. So Debola, stop sharing your screen. Now start playing the game. That's the game that you have to click on an option. Stop sharing your screen.
ah,
You're supposed to pick an answer as fast as possible. Stop sharing your screen, Debola, if it's possible.
okay, ma'am.
Ma? Mr. Kasim, I think I need to ask, are you in already? Were you able to get in, Mr. Kasim? Okay, I think I can see another person. So
I think that's new.
Twenty one.
That's it.
Anti
I am water, ice. Correct. Remove this thing. Put it into what was the last topic? Data. Ma?
My own is not playing again.
Start. You
Governor, you
start.
can't see it again.
Which letter of the alphabet has the most water? W. Water. W. Water. C. Water. H. Something wrong. Ma, there is
Yes.
something went wrong. There is something went wrong.
Okay. The game just finished actually. Who
My
is
own have
Sand Flame?
Ma?
Who is Sand Flame?
That's me, ma. That's me.
For well done. I'm not acknowledging you winning the game. Who is Willow Shield? Who is Willow Shield? Nobody is Willow Shield. You don't
Willow
remember your
Shield.
name.
I think that should be somewhere.
Covenant, is that you?
no.
Mr.
Ma, they say
Taslim.
I want that game ID.
Don't enter any game ID, don't worry. Just you're done with the game already.
Okay, ma.
Okay. So I just wanted also have like a brief game refresher, and yeah, before we get started with class. So every time we join class, this is what we are going to do. So everybody already has gotten a hang of how to use this blue kit. The next time our game will be faster than this. I had to pause the game along the line because some of us were still getting adapted to using it. All right, so we are going to start the class now, and we are going to start from where we stopped last week, right? So we were seeing a couple of things last week, and we haven't really finished the class essentially. So please let me know as soon as you can see my screen. Um, Debola, please stop sharing your screen. All right, please let me know when you can see my screen.
Oh my god. As now.
All right, Debola, don't worry, your screen has automatically stopped sharing because I stopped sharing mine. So yes, we are going to be continuing from where we stopped last week, just like I mentioned. So we have okay, let me just type this guy. So we have a couple of things to actually go through, right? We want to learn how to order, sort, and filter data. We want to learn how to remove duplicates and undo missing data, right? We want to know how to go around conditional formatting as well, right? And after we do this and we remove duplicates and different other things, we'll go straight into what we have for today's class. So I'm going to be working with your last week's assignment, right? I should have it somewhere. I'm going to be working with your last week's assignment to actually do that. So I think your assignment should be somewhere here. Yes. So in your last week's assignment, you were asked to drop some duplicate data, you were asked to do a couple of things, and it started getting confusing. True or false?
True.
Yes, ma.
All right, very good. So this week, I will be showing you what you were meant to do or what I was expecting you to do essentially, right? So I just copied the data essentially and pasted it into Excel. Once you do that,
How
don't
did you
forget
convert the
how
data
I
from PDF to Excel?
okay, I didn't convert the data from PDF to Excel. So what I just did was just to go into this place. I copied my data. It's already well structured. So I just used my mouse to copy the data, right? And I click Control C, or better still, you can right click. When you right click, you click on copy, right? When you click on copy, you go back to Excel, right? And then let me create a new worksheet. Okay, you see how I pasted. So you go back to Excel, click on this place again, right click on it, and click on paste, right? You want to match the destinations formatting. Use this option. Don't just use this option. You can keep source formatting, right? If you want it
Mom,
exactly,
I've
yes,
typed Excel already.
very good. Yeah, just copy and paste your data essentially. But if you want to keep the source formatting, you use this option to keep source formatting.
Now I've typed copy.
Uh, Kolapo, please can you help me? Debola, if you have questions, drop it in the chat box. Kolapo will attend to your questions. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All
Okay.
right, thank you. So basically, you can either when you click on a box or a cell, you can either click on keep source formatting, or you can use destination formatting. So if you want to keep the source formatting, that is, if you want it to look exactly the way you copied it, then you click on keep source formatting. Immediately you do that, then you can expand your data, right? And then after expanding your data, sorry, you have to select all the columns and then click on this sidebar and drag it. When you drag it, you expand your data essentially. But that dragging was so much. I just want it to accommodate it. Then you have to make sure that your text is wrapped, right? So now this is the data that we'll be working with. So I'll be splitting my screen so that I'll be helping us answer the questions from our assignment. So the question was for us to actually, so we'll be using this to learn about today's class. And in today's class, we actually want to learn what do we mean by sorting and filtering data. Arrange data in ascending order, right? Or descending order, right? Example, sort expenses from highest to lowest to identify most significant, blah, 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 right? So now, if you're talking about filtering, arranging data, let's say for this example, now for this name, right? We want to arrange it in ascending or descending order. We want it to go from the highest name or name that is like in ascending order means A to Z. In descending order means Z to A. So we want to go from A to Z and arrange the names in alphabetical order. So what do we do in that regards? Is very simple. To actually sort data, right? If we go under editing purposes, we will see different things that are under editing. We will see functions that are here, right? We will see under this place, under this A to Z that we can see, right, we see sort A to Z, we see sort Z to A, we see custom sort, we see filter, right? So and then there are also other options here. Should in case we want to fill something, we want to fill up or fill down or different things. Then if we want to find and replace, this is what we use. And if we also want to validate data, but we are not there yet. Then if you want to clear data, you can also use this. But what we are focusing on today is using this, right? Where you normally filter, essentially. So when you click on that place, you click on sort A to Z because we want to sort in ascending order. So he's asking me that should it expand the selection. So what it means by should it expand the selection is in the format that should it automatically make sure that when it sorts the name, it also sorts the age, the date of purchase, the product, the price. He's asking me if it should actually sort the rest using the name. So most of the times it's advisable that you expand the selection. Don't just continue with the current selection, but expand it so that all your data at the same time will be sorted. So I'll click on expand the selection and then I'll click on sort. So immediately I clicked on sort, you notice that all my data has changed, right? So it's going from ascending order. So John Doe is coming from before Lisa because if you go in the alphabetic order, J comes before L comes before M comes before N, P comes before S as well. So that's essentially what it looks like. And automatically, because I sorted using name and I expanded the selection, everything else has been sorted. I want to ask, do we have a question before I show us how to sort by price as well, or by quantity, or by date? I will show us how to sort by date, by quantity, by price as well. But I want to quickly ask, do we have any questions at all?
No.
Debola, any question? Debola, any question? Okay. Mr. Kasim, any question?
No ma.
Okay, very good, Debola.
Oh,
All right, thank you. So, basically, so that's just how to sort data, right? Then when it comes to filtering data, I'm going to show us how to sort numbers too. So I just showed us how to sort text. But what if we want to sort numbers, right? We want to sort numbers, the numbers are not looking pleasant, but we want to sort them. It's very easy. So I'm going to sort by age as well, and I'm going to go from like the highest, so from the lowest to the highest. So when we click on the age, that on the column that we want to sort by, we go back to the same place, right? When we go back to the same place, we're able to actually see how we can do it. So click on the same place and click on sort. You will notice that immediately I clicked on a number, it's changed from A to Z, but automatically said sort smallest to largest, or sort largest to smallest. So in our scenario, we are going to sort smallest to largest. So I'm going to be clicking on it, and it will ask me if I want to expand the selection. That is, it should carry the rest of the column and also go ahead to sort the rest of the columns. Now I'll click on sort. Immediately I click on sort, you notice that it's currently sorting by age, right? So you see 22 to 40. The reason why it's placing 30 here is because it's not recognizing this as a number yet. But we'll still also work to clean this to make it very presentable in a nice format. But that's basically how sorting actually works, right? Now, when we are talking about filtering, we'll still clean our data before we go to removing duplicates, handling missing data, and conditional formatting. Now, when we are talking about filtering, if we want to filter only expenses above 50, right? Now, let's say we just want to filter under this place. We want to create a filter, right? We want to filter a specific date format for dates that are, for dates that are like 20s, people that are in their 20s, right? If we want to actually filter data, there's a way that we can filter. And to filter, this is what we use, right? It's directly also where that thing is. Now, immediately you click on filter, right? You will see a small box that is appearing beside the data you want to filter. So you're going to click on that small box. When you click on that small box, you automatically see all the data inside of it. But don't let us forget that we said we want to filter ages of people that are in their 20s, right? Now I'm going to unselect all of these. In fact, I will not select anything there. I'll just click on number filters, right? You can see I have different things. I can have equals to, I can use equals to, I can use does not equals to, I can use greater than, I can use greater than or no or equals to, I can use less than, I can use less than or equals to. So what I'm going to be doing is, remember we said we want people in their 20s, and people in their 20s would mean 20 to 29. Anything above 30 does not include people in their 20s anymore. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to click on less than, because we want people in their 20s, right? Or we can use greater than or equals to, right? But this time around, because we want something straight to the point, we use less than. And when we are saying it's less than, you can see immediately I clicked on less than, it showed something here, right? It says shows rows where age is less than, right? And I'll be saying that my age should be less than 20. Sorry, since you are selecting people in their 20s, my age should be less than 30, right? So immediately I do this. If I want to add anything more to this one, I can add anything more to this, right? I can say it's less than 30, right? Or I can keep it there. But remember, we are saying people in their 20s. It can be less than, that's true. Now I remember. People in their 20s are 20 to 29. But if we specify less than 30, what if in our data we have people that are 15, people that are 16, and the condition that we are just applying is less than 30? But people that we want are people between 20 to 29. So in that kind of scenario, if we have other things in our data to make it completely accurate, what do? Is less than 30, and right, greater than 19. Now, this keeps our range between 20 to 29, because if something is less than 30, it means that it starts from 29 downward, 29, 28, 27, all the way to 1. But if you want to confine it to make sure that it doesn't go below 20, what do? We have to add an condition and say and is greater than 19. So once I click on OK, you will automatically notice that my data has automatically been sorted. So now I have people in 20s, 22, 22, 25, 28. So automatically, this is how to actually filter data, right? That's how to filter data, essentially. I don't know if you have any questions based on the filtering that we just did. Any questions at all? Let's ask our questions though, so that we can be able to help each other.
Any question?
Any question?
Say
Okay.
no.
No, all right. No. Covenant, any question?
No.
All right. Mr. Kasim, any question? All right. I'm going to assume there are no questions essentially. All right. Since there are no questions, let's proceed. Right. Let's proceed. So that's actually how to work with it, right? Essentially, that's just how to filter data. Now that we have filtered our data, I want us to do something. Before we go into removing duplicates and handling missing data, I want us to clean our data, right? Our data is currently not looking too good, right? So I'm going to remove the filtering that I applied to it, right? So I'm going to, once you click on this place, when you want to unfilter, right? When you don't want to filter anymore, when you're done with this and you want this box to clear off, you just go back to the same place where you were coming from and click on filter again. Immediately you click on it, that box goes away. Now, I want us to actually clean our data. There's a problem with our data, right? And based on the assignments that you were given, right? If you can open your assignment by the side and still look at the screen, it would be nice. But based on the assignments that you were given, sorry, just a minute. Yes. So based on the assignments that you were given, it says step 1, convert age to a numerical format. Replace what's like 30 and missing values. So what do you do in step 1? If you want to replace what's like 30 and missing values, what do? You already know that 30 is currently in a format that is not age. So when you are cleaning your data, you just go into it. You already know what 30 means. Just type 30. That's just what I meant by replace 30. Replace it to what is supposed to be there, right? And missing values. Now we have missing values. And he's saying that for Paul, we don't even know Paul's age. Now, I'm going to be teaching you how to undo missing values. So we'll go to missing values. We'll go to numerical missing values at first, right? And then we'll now go to what was it called? We'll now go to probably conditional formatting or removing duplicates. Now, we can have different types of missing values, right? And if you want to undo missing values, you have many options to actually undo missing values. Now, option number 1, you can choose to make the age of Mr. Paul, right, to be the mean of the age of everybody else. Hope you are taking notes. You can choose to make the age of Mr. Paul to be the mean of the age of everybody else. Another option that you can use is that you can use the most common value or the most common age value that is there, right? So what I can do here is to say, okay, number 1, I will go into it and say equals to, and we already know how to do mean. Mean is also the same thing as average. So I will say average. I'm going to take average of the age column. So I'm going to say average into brackets, and then I will select all these cells, right? Then I will also select the last cell. So I can use that as Mr. Paul's age. Take the mean of every data that is available and enter. When you click on enter, you can see it's already giving you an age that is 28, right? And when you have that age, immediately you have a calculation what's it called, when you have a calculation column or a calculation row and you don't want it to continue to appear as calculation, what do? You copy it and then you paste it back, but paste it back as values, so that this time around your calculation will not be showing anymore. You can see what I did. After what I did, it converted it to 28 and you'll not be able to see the formula I applied anymore. Now, what's another way that you can actually fill missing values? Another way that you can fill missing values is to pick the most common value and use it to fill the missing value, right? Use your most common value and use it to fill the missing value. So let's see if mode will work. Then, how do you do most common values? Normally, your most common values is mode. Mean is average. Mode is the most common value. So you can choose to go ahead, right? Select everything amidst the ones that you want to select a mode for, right? And then when you do that and click enter, you can see that it has already selected the most common value. It has selected this as 25. That's another way that you can use in filling your missing values, right? When it comes to filling missing values specifically, sorry, can everyone still hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hope you're understanding what I'm doing.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
very good. So that's another way to also fill in missing values, right? If you have missing values that are numbers, remember I said specifically numbers. We have not gone into filling missing values that are text yet. This is just numbers. Now, after doing that, what do we do next, right? You can decide to choose mode, you can decide to use mean, you can decide to use, there's also the opportunity to also use median if possible, right? So I can decide to use my median as well. I will have to type my full median, then do into brackets, then I'll select the number that I want to get median for and select the last one, the last cell as well, which is 311. So I will close my bracket and click on enter. That's my median. My median is 25, right? So it's showing me that my median is 25. At the end of the day, what I'm going to do is just to leave it at the median value, right? So you can either use mode or use mean or you use median. Since it's just one figure, it shouldn't affect the entirety of your figure at the end of the day, right? It shouldn't affect your figure at the end of the day. Now, after you have filled in missing values, that's how to fill in what's it called, numerical missing values, right? Well, one thing that I always mention is this. I don't want to go into that, please. Don't worry, we'll still go into it when we are going into Power BI or when we are reaching the end of Excel, but I won't mention it for now. So that's actually how to fill it in. So don't forget, immediately you are done filling it in, copy your value. Make sure that it's no longer formula. So copy your value by clicking that cell and clicking on copy. And then you have to paste it back. But when you are pasting it, make sure that you are pasting it back as a value, right? Don't paste it using this option. It will still copy back the same thing, the formula, it will still copy back, but you want to paste it using value so that it will just be the value that will be shown. So click on values. Once you click on values, you will now see that it's only 25 that you are seeing there. Now we have been able to successfully deal with the missing value here. Now for this one now that is showing 40 and is null, we don't even know the name of the person. The price of the thing that the person bought is 200, the quantity is 2, the total price is 400. Now the question is, how do we even fill in missing values here? We don't know the name of the person, right? So in a text situation, when we don't know how to fill in the name of the person, we just want to leave it as null. We are going to leave it the way it is. Why? Because it's the name of a person and we don't know the person's name. There's no way we can detect the person's name. But in order to make somebody else that is reading your data know that you don't know the name of the person, rather than filling it with no, what do? You can do not available, right? So when you use NA inside of text data, they will automatically understand that that data is not available, right? That's if you don't want to drop missing columns. Another way to actually deal with missing data is to drop the rows, drop the entire rows, right? So I can decide to go to this therapy and say, oh, this row is missing other products. And I'll now say, okay, I'll come and select it. And what do? I'm going to delete it so that I will not have missing data. That's another way to deal with missing data. But I will not advise you to deal with missing data in that regard. don't drop missing data if you know you can fill it with something else, right? So we've been able to successfully deal with the missing data in name and age, right? So let's deal with the missing data in quantity as well. We need to change this 2 to 2, so we are going to change it from 2. It's also a data quality issue, so we are going to this 2, we are going to change it to 2, right? Because it's already telling us that it's 2. Now this 80 as well, we are going to do the same thing to this 80 as well and convert it to 80, right? We are going to go back to this USD. So I asked that we remove this USD, because if we don't remove this USD, to see it as a text column, right? So you need to remove that USD, right? Remove your USD, so that when you want to make use of your data, everything will be compact. Everything will be compact and everything would actually look as nice as possible. Now, also another thing that we need to remove is this thing. Because of this thing, right, we need to remove all the dollar signs that we are seeing. And I'm going to first convert this price. I'm going to first convert it to a number, right? So that everything will be nice before I now convert it back to currency. I want everything to be in a correct format first before I will even do anything at all. Now this price has been sorted. Now I want somebody to actually answer me. How do you think? Remember, let me show you something. You know, when you want to get total price, your total price is price times quantity, right? That's what will give you your total price. When you buy 40 naira biscuits, right? And the biscuits you are buying, okay, we don't even have 40 naira biscuits, but we can have 15 naira biscuits. So let's say we have 15 naira biscuits, or you went to the supermarket and you bought butter for like 1,000 naira. Now they asked you to buy 2 butters, right? So what would be the total amount that you'll be spending at the supermarket? Don't forget, small butter is 1,000 naira, and you were asked to buy 2 butters. What will be the total amount that you'll be spending at the supermarket?
2009.
Very good, 2,000 naira, right? So that's the exact same thing with this price and this quantity, together with this total price. So total price is just the multiplication of price and quantity. Now, based on that information that we just gained, what do we think that this null is supposed to be? Don't forget, total price is price times quantity. So which means that if you want to get quantity or price, you have to divide total price by either quantity or price. So what do we think that quantity is in this regard, when we already know that price times quantity will give us total price? So how do you think we can
One.
fill this part that is missing?
The quantity will be 1.
The quantity will be 1. Okay, can you explain how you got the quantity as 1?
Because if the total price is 1 2 and the
Okay,
price of what we bought is 1 2, that means it's 1 is bought.
exactly. If the price of what that person bought is 1 2 and the total price they paid is 1 2, it means the person bought just one item. So exactly, we already have our answer. So instead of no, we'll be replacing this with 1. Are we getting what we are doing now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So in this place, what do we think that total price will be here as well? Remember, price times quantity equals to total price. I want Debola to answer. What will total price be here, Debola? Debola, we are waiting for you. Debola, can you hear me? Please unmute your mic.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So based on the explanation that I made, what do you think we need to fill this place with so that it no longer be null? Remember I said total price is price times quantity.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so what will this null, what is it supposed to be? You can just say what I need to multiply by each other to actually get it. What 2 numbers do I need to multiply by each other to get my value here?
My mm, five the price
And
and total price.
I need to multiply price and total price to get total price.
No, ma.
Okay, I want to get total price. So what are the two numbers I need to multiply by each other to get the total price?
Ma, selling. Let me see. Your screen now. This is the ask.
Deborah. All right. Well, that means you were not here, but please pay attention from now on. I mentioned that if you want to get total price, you multiply price by quantity. So in this point here, my value is appearing as null. The two numbers that I need to multiply together are 80 and 2. And 80 times 2 will give me 160. Which means I already know what to multiply this, and I already know how to fill this up. So this one will become 160. Debola, do you now understand?
Yes, ma.
All right, thank you very much. So we have another value to deal with. Let's face date of purchase and product. So Mr. Kasim, I'm going to be asking you this question. What do you think is wrong with this date? And why is it not looking like the other dates? Why do you think it's appearing different?
because the date, the date, the date is long date. It's short date.
Okay. That's for this one,
Now,
Abby. That's for 12 April 2023. But for this one specifically, what can you see is wrong with it? What do you think is the
can I,
problem? So I want
can
Mr.
I,
Kasim to answer. He has answered for this
For the,
one. The
for the,
major
for the
problem
other
with this
one,
one is that it's a
for
short
the other,
date. Yes, this other one.
yes, this one is short. It's a long date. That one,
Yes,
that's 02/29/2023 is a long date, while 12
yes.
April 2023 is a short date.
That's also correct. But I want us to also see something. When I'm clicking on them, I want us to check this place, right? This place where we change the data type. So I want us to see the difference. When I click on the one at the top, right, and I click on the one at the bottom, what do you think is wrong? One is showing one data format or data type. The second one is showing another data type.
Okay,
Can
it's
we
not
see what
properly positioned.
is not properly positioned exactly? But we also need to also change the data type. So the problem is that Excel is not recognizing this as a date because it wasn't properly positioned and formatted, just like you said. It was not formatted as date, it was formatted as general. So what do we need to do at this instance? We need to select it, go back to the top, and change it to make sure that it is date, right? So once we select date and I remove my mouse from it, we automatically start seeing that. Let me see. Okay, let's change this. Let's update this date to this. And let's remove any excess thing that is in front that might be delaying it from, let's see. Okay, let's convert the entire column to date rather than general. And so that phone ring, your phone is ringing. Yes, covenant.
that 2/29/2010 2023,
Okay.
2023 February ends at 28.
Not in 2023. February ends at 28.
Yes.
27, 28. That's true. 27, 28. Yeah, that could also be another reason why it's not converting. Thank you for taking note of that. That's also very important because Excel will also automatically be doing date validation. So we're doing 28. Thank you very much. So that was the problem, right? February ends at 28, number one. Number two, it was not properly formatted. It was in general format, right? So those were the problems that were with it. And if you notice, immediately I selected the entire column, this was actually showing April 12, 2023 before. Do you remember the value that was here before?
Yes.
It was exactly. So immediately we select the date format, Either we select short date or long date, right? This is what long date looks like. Can we see what long days looks like? It will specify the day. Saturday, June 10, 2023. This is long date. But if we want to do it in a short date format and we just want it to be precise, we select short date. If we now want to add time to it, right? We can add time. You can now see it has changed to time. Everything has automatically changed to 12 a.m. Right? But if we also want to have, there are different types of date formattings that we can actually have. I'm going to change it back to a short date, right? So and we are going to be leaving it that way. Thank you so much for taking note of that, Covenant. I didn't take note of it. It's very important. So actually, that's actually thank you so much, Mr. Kasim. Thank you, Covenant, for answering that. So we now have one more data issue before we start dealing with removing duplicates, right? So we have seen how we can actually undo missing data. Doing practical has helped us to learn that, right? We'll soon see how we can actually remove duplicates and then how we can now do conditional formatting as well. But now I want us to do something. What do we think we can do with this null value under product? How do you think we can fill it up? What do you think we can do with it? Do you think we can use
Not
mode?
available.
Thank you very much. We use not available to actually fill it. Because if we use anything else to fill it, now the problem is if we decide to use mode, I'm going to show you the problem. So if we decide to use mode, right, I will now say, okay, we want to use mode of all these items to actually fill it. It's actually expecting a number, and that's the problem. I know that mode shebi is the most highest occurring value now. That's what our mode. But when you decide to use mode to fill it, it's going to ask you. You can already see it when you were trying to use the formula for mode. You can already see it is showing number one, number two, number three, which means automatically Excel is expecting a number from you. So you can't use mode to fill it. So the best way to actually fill missing data is just what has been said. I think it was Mr. Kasim that said it. I think I heard his voice. So the best way to fill this is just to put not available. So immediately we do not available. Our data is currently free of missing values and our data is clean. Now, let's quickly look at how we can remove duplicates, right? So we have cleaned missing values. How can we remove duplicates? What are even duplicates in the first place? Duplicates are repeated data that are just repeated. And the problem is that when we are trying to do data analysis and we have duplicate data, it's going to affect our analysis because it's going to having duplicate data means that our data is not correct and we can't use it for analysis, which means that we won't be able to answer our questions correctly. So what do we use data analysis for? We use data analysis to answer some questions, to help people make decisions. And if the data that we are using to answer these questions is not even correct itself, do you think that we'll be able to give the correct answer to the person that want to help answer their questions? Of course not. So we use data in different places. We can use it for businesses, we can use it for schools, we can use it in the hospital, and most importantly, even in the supermarket, which means that after you have learned this data analysis, you can go to the nearest supermarket that is close to and tell them, well, if you are going to pay me this amount per month, I can help you work on your data and I can help you make better decisions. I will tell you the products that your customers are buying the most. Do you know that this thing, data analysis, is very broad? When you go to a supermarket, you can tell them the products that their customers are buying the most. And when you tell them the products that their customers are buying the most, and you tell them around which time that people are buying it, it will make them put these products or find a way to arrange their products in such a way that when customers are coming in and they sight the products, because the product is naturally attractive, they're just going to pick it up and buy it. And then you can answer multiple questions for the supermarket to actually increase and boost their sales. The same way you can do it for a supermarket is the same way you can do it for a business. You can even do it for a church. You can do it for different people, essentially, right? So that being said, that's it, right? So we have been able to clean our data, but now we need to drop duplicate data. Now the question is, how do we even drop duplicate data, essentially? So inside of Excel, we have something that we call data, right? We have this pane that is called data, and immediately I selected that pane, you will see the different things that we can use it for, right? Even the sorting and the filtering. Okay, let me pin this so that it not cause issues. So I'll pin the real one. So you can see immediately I clicked on it. We can even do different things. You can get data from different places, from a file, right? You can get data from a file. So another way to actually get data, if your data is in form of a PDF, you can actually go to data and click on get data from file. Then you click on from PDF. Once you click on from PDF, you'll be able to get your data. Then this is the data pane. It shows us how to do different things. Yes, you can also get data from the picture on a file, right? So let me say, for example, we have picture from file and I want to get my data from picture from file. Let me quickly snap this picture. I want us to just quickly see the example scenario. And let me see if I can use our assignment for that. Since we have data on our assignment, let me see. So let's quickly snap a picture. We just want to see how that picture works, right? How getting data from a picture could essentially work. So I've actually screenshotted it. So I'll now click on get from picture, picture from file, right? So once I click on picture from file, it's under screenshot for me. So I'll go under screenshot and pick the specific picture that I just screenshotted just now. This is it. So I will insert it. Once I insert it, it will have to start pulling the data from picture. So you can see what it started. Immediately I did insert. So if you're the kind of person who has data in form of pictures, in form of documents, you can already see the way it's doing, right? It's picked up the data from the picture. But the problem with this thing is that it's not perfect yet. So for me personally, I don't like using it because it has not reached that point of perfection yet. But if your data is looking neat and it has, what do you call it? It has lines in between it. It will be able to pick it up perfectly. You can already see what it's doing. It's not able to keep it up perfectly, right? So that's why personally for me, I don't like using this option because you will need to still review your data, rearrange it very well, make sure everything is looking good for you to be able to do it. But I just needed to show you an example of picking data from picture. Then for this place, right? These are for queries and connections, right? These are for queries and connections. Very soon, you understand what we mean by queries, right? We have something that we call Power Queries in Excel. We use it to do advanced analysis inside of Excel. But I'll be showing you that later in the class, probably the fourth class or the third class. I'm sure it's part of the topics that we are learning. Then we have data types, right? You can have data types that are organization data. These are important so that it helps you sort your data, right? We also have stocks data, right? When you are selecting, when you are doing a data selector, it can show you the different types that you can have, right? That means you are telling Excel essentially, my data is stocks data, so treat it as stocks data. My data is a currency data, so treat it as currency data, right? So for example, I know that these two are currency data, right? So when I select the column, I can go here and say currencies because they are currency data. So you can see what it's doing already. It's treating it as currency data. So there are different functionalities beyond what you think that Excel can do. It can do beyond what you are thinking. But let's go straight to what we want to do. You want to remove duplicates. So when you want to remove duplicates, just select where your data is located. When you select where your data is located, this is what you need, data tools, right? When you click on data tools, you will see the different things that are available here. Now, this one is to remove duplicates. This is exactly where we are going, right? You will notice that I immediately selected all the data and I clicked on this thing at the top. And when I clicked it, it now brought out a box asking me, how should you remove the duplicate, right? And now I want you to remove all the duplicates. You must make sure that the data is duplicated across all columns. If you want to remove duplicates by names, right, we can just decide to unselect everything and leave. I can just unselect everything and leave only name, select only name, right? And when I select only name, it only removes the duplicate based on the name. But I want you to make sure that it's looking at all the columns in my data before it removes duplicate. So what do? I'm going to select all. When I select all, essentially what happens? I click on OK. Immediately I click on OK, you notice that it has deleted data that I saved. And out of 10 rows, I'm left with just 7 rows, which means that I add 3 duplicate data. And that was exactly what I was expecting that we'll do in our assignment, right? So the next thing that we do, what's the next thing that we do at this point? we have to ensure that after we have cleaned up our data, we have to ensure that our data are in the correct data type. So for example, this name now is supposed to be what? It's supposed to be in text format, true or false?
True.
Age is supposed to be what? Covenant.
Number.
It's supposed to be number. Yes, age is supposed to be number. Then we have to make sure that there are no decimal points. Mr. Kasim, date of purchase is supposed to be which data type?
Can be short data type or long data type.
Yes, it can be short date or long date. So we keep it as short date, or you can use either short date or long date. It's whichever one you want, but we keep it as short date. Then we know products. Product is already in text, right? So we'll go back and change it to text, right? So we'll scroll down, change it to text. Then we know that price. Now the price that we are considering is not Nigerian data. It's not Nigerian data. It's supposed to be in dollars, right? If it's Nigerian data, what do we use? We use Naira. And this is how we can use Naira. I think
Right.
I've taught us before, but I'm going to teach us again. So we'll go there and we make sure that we are clicking on currency. Once we click on currency, the default currency that we use is not Naira, it's dollars, right? Because Excel itself is from the United States of America. So the default currency that Excel we use is dollars. So how do we change this? That's the question. We go to this place where we are seeing the dollar sign, click on this small button, and then click on more accounting formats. So when we click on more accounting formats, what do? We actually, okay, we can decide to have two decimal places or not. So but for this, we don't want to have decimal places. But anytime we are dealing with price, please make sure you include decimal places. I remember. But because we don't do kobo in Nigeria, that's why we don't need decimal places. In a place like the United States of America, they have what we call cents, right? So if they are saying $2.02, their $2.02 can be 2.20 or 2.02, 2.02 or 2.20. It can be $2.20. Their $2.20 is 2.20. So if you are dealing with any other country, because we no longer have kobo in Nigeria, right? Although when you are dealing with financial accounting data, you can start having decimal places. But we no longer have kobo in Nigeria, right? So we are going to reduce these decimal places to zero. And this symbol, we are going to change it from dollars that it is. And scroll down. When we scroll down, we will see Naira. You can see the different types of Naira. We can use any one, it doesn't really matter. They are just trying to, sometimes they don't actually understand that our Naira are uniform. In other countries, their currency may not be uniform depending on which place they are. But in Nigeria, our Naira are actually uniform. So I'm going to pick any one of them, either Edo or Fulani or Hausa or Igbo or Kanuri. I'm going to pick any one of them. At the end of the day, it's going to work, right? I'm going to do okay. So immediately I do okay, you can already see that has changed it to Naira format, right? And you can look at the other ones too that are offered there, right? The Naira format. You can look at every other Naira format. What is Fulani? How does it look like? Look at the Naira format. So you can see where Fula is placing the Naira format, right? It's placing it at the back. But normally, when you want to write Naira inside of your note, do you write it in front or at the back?
In front.
Exactly, you write it in front. So you might want to actually keep looking at the Naira format and how they place. They won't tell you how they are placing it here. They will just show you the different formattings, right? So you need to be able to know the specific one that will put it in front for you. So the Yoruba Naira too is putting it at the front, the same thing as the Edo Naira. So we leave it in front, right? And then we reduce this number of decimal places because we don't have couple. Although in financial accounting, don't remove the decimal places, leave it as okay. Maybe we even be leaving it as they are, so that when you are dealing with financial data, you leave the decimal places. So we'll do the same thing with total price, quantity as well. Quantity is supposed to be a number, but it's appearing as general. So we'll be converting it to what? We'll be converting it to number. Then this number is not supposed to have decimal places because it's quantity. You can't have 1.5 or something, right? So we are going to reduce the decimal point, right? Just no decimal point at all. Then we are going to also change this total price as well to be what? To be currency. And then we are going to change the currency that is in front of it from what it currently is to naira because we are Nigerians and we are dealing with naira. So we don't want anything that will overcomplicate matters. So that's it, right? Now, our data can be trusted and it is in the correct format. So this was exactly the thing that I asked you to do in the last assignment. Do we understand?
Ma,
Covenant, I can hear you.
for me, I'm using mobile office. So this data types, I can't see them there.
Yeah, using
Mobile office,
mobile
mobile office.
office.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
And you
I
can
can
see the data type formatting.
uh,
What are the
um,
data types that are available in mobile office?
is data validation I can see.
What did you say?
Data validation.
Sorry, Covenant, I'm struggling to hear you actually.
Okay. Data validation I can see there.
Hmm?
Data validation.
Please, the phone gem. Please.
Covenant, I can't really hear you.
Data
Can you type it instead? Type it instead. I'll be able to see it when you type it. All right. So based on that, while I'm trying to answer Covenant's question, do we have any other questions?
have typed it.
What did you say?
Have typed it.
Okay. So I'll see in the chat box. Data validation. Yes,
Yes.
data validation is part of the things that actually helps you to validate your data. Other example, no, data validation is different too. You should be able to see a formatting that actually formats your data well for you, rather than the data validation that you're just seeing. Right. I think on the we saw how to use it under WPS Office. So if we are using your phone, right, I would advise you use WPS Office. If you are using Android, and there's a way to get WPS Office, go to light.apk. If you want to use all the features of WPS for free, go to light.apks, right? Let me see if I got that link correct.
Yes.
Go to
Yes.
light.apk, and yes, another one that you can use is Office Suite. So I'm giving recommendations if you are using Android now, you are not using your laptop. So go to this link, lightapks.com. This is not for people that are using laptop, or it's for people that are using their Android phones, right? So go to lightapks.com. You can either use WPS Office or you can use Office Suite, WPS Office, or you use Office Suite, Office Suite, right? So you can use either of those things and you'll be able to make use of it essentially. I don't know if you're able to get that. Do you
That,
get Covenant? I'm not
yes.
sure if Mobile Office will be able to render you that thing that you really need, right? But you can use those ones that I've actually mentioned.
Okay.
Covenant, is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So now we want to quickly see conditional formatting, right? What is conditional formatting? Conditional formatting just means that you highlight your data based on a rule, right? So let's say, for example, I highlight all expenses above $100 in red. I highlight overdue payments or top performing sales. So when you're highlighting data or when you're doing conditional formatting, the reason why you're using conditional formatting is just so that when people are glancing at your data on first glance, you'll be able to know that there's something wrong in the places that you highlighted. So you are just doing it so that people will be able to spot probably a problem in your data, or people will be able to spot what you want them to see when they are looking at your data at first, right? So in this place, you are going to be highlighting prices that are greater than 500 or prices that are even less than 500, right? You want to highlight prices or
Yes.
things that are less than 500. So is someone trying to ask a question, perhaps. I think somebody's data was almost unmuted now. Okay. So if you now want to do conditional formatting, right? Now, most likely we'll be seeing it in styles here, right? Highlight cell rules greater than, less than, right? So this is what we are doing. So now we want to highlight prices. Remember, we are saying we want to highlight prices that are less than 500, right? You already mentioned less than 500. We are not saying between, but we are saying less than 500. So what do? We go to conditional formatting. We now select highlight cell rules, right? So we are going to say less than. Once we say less than, you can already see that it placed a specific format there. So what do? We tell it that less than 500, right? Then we select OK. And
Your screen is not showing.
what did you say?
Your screen is not showing.
Wait, can everybody else see my screen? Hello, can everybody see my screen?
Yes, I can see
See
your
your
screen.
camera.
All right, thank you. So Covenant, please go back and rejoin again. Do you get? All right, so he's going to join us again. So I think somebody just joined. Jomiloju, you are welcome. Hi, Jomiloju, can you hear us?
Yes, ma. Like everyone.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I think you were here last week as well.
Yes, ma.
Yeah. So far, have you been able to get what we're saying or what we've been saying?
Yeah, I'm getting along now.
What did you say?
I said I'm getting along.
Okay, very good. So immediately after, I'm just using how to wait for Covenant. I don't want him to miss this. Just let's give him 2 to 3 minutes. Immediately after this, you are going to be doing a brief class work to actually understand, to actually see if you have understood everything that we have been doing.
I'm here.
Okay, Covenant, you're welcome back. All right. So based on that, right, how do we do conditional formatting? We already mentioned to do conditional formatting. What do? We select the data that we want to highlight, right? So we select the data that we want to highlight. So we can see that there are different formattings that we have. We can do, okay, this is greater than. We can do top 10 or top 10 or bottom 10. Then you can decide to use data bars. You can decide to use color scales. Now let me mention this. We'll start this visualization today. There's a visualization that you'll be plotting, right? There's a visualization that you'll be plotting, and it's called an heat map. Do you get? There's a visualization that you'll be plotting that is called an heat map. If you want to plot an heat map, you need to be able to know what these things are about, right? Essentially, you need to be able to know what those things are or what we do concerning this thing. So when we are talking about a visualization, right? When we are talking about a visualization, that is heat map, I will still teach you how to do heat map inside of Excel. That's like when you know how to plot, when you know how to do heat map inside of Excel. Trust me, you already know what you are doing essentially. So let me say cell value, right, is greater than not only cells that contains cell value greater than select 500 and format set. Let me see a number. I want to select a currency, right? Decimal symbol. Okay. No, this is not what I'm looking for. Let me just see. Please just give me a minute. I'm trying to find something.
Okay, ma.
Thank you. Um, That's what I was trying to look for. That's what you should have done since the beginning. All right, so that was what I was trying to find. I was trying to be sure because the first time it selected everything and it wasn't supposed to select everything. So now we want to select data or price that is less than 500. And we know that immediately we select prices that are less than 500. We know those things are cheap. True or false?
True.
True. So which means that when somebody is entering into our data or into our Excel sheet for the first time, what do you think will first catch their eyes? Okay, I think I'll do the conditional formatting before I will now ask. So let's when you want to select prices less than 500, what do? You select the place where you want to apply your conditional formatting, right? Select that column and go under conditional formatting. Immediately you go under conditional formatting. Remember, we are saying we want to select the ones that are less than 500. So you go under highlight cell rules. Then you go under highlight cell rules. We click on less than, right? So when we click on less than, automatically that's the first thing that it will do because what you can see here is 610. It's using 610. So we have to change it to a value that we want, right? We want something less than 500. So I'm going to select this one. And I'm going to select this. Can you see what I did, or I should come again?
Again.
Okay, so I'm going to come again. Now, if you want to apply it on the reason why I selected the entire column is that you might want to apply it on the entire column because data might be filled inside your column. I don't want to have to be selecting range. But if the range of your data is very small, like what we have currently, you can just select the range of data that you have, right? But if your data is inside of your entire column, you have to select your entire column, right? But simply because you are working with small data, I can decide to select only cells that we have data available. So once I select it, what do I do next? I go to conditional formatting. Under conditional formatting, I select highlight cells rule or highlight cell rules. Then remember we want to get price of products that are less than 500. So I will come to this less than. I'll click on less than. Immediately I click on less than, it would have highlighted everything because the default value that is showing here is 610.00. So how do I work around it? I will go back and select okay less than 500. So immediately I select less than the value 500. Remember, I just selected something. You may not necessarily want to select something, right? But if you do, okay, let's finish this one first. What do you get? It has been highlighted. This is how to do conditional formatting. Do we get it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Covenant, do you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Jomiloju, did you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Kasim, did you get it?
Yes.
Okay, amazing. All right, so that's how we do conditional formatting, right? So basically, but if you have the entire column, what you just need to do in this scenario, let's say for example, inside of price, you have the entire column. So we select the entire column, go to conditional formatting, select sales rules. We want sales that are less than 500, Abby. So instead of this 620.00, we can, if we don't want to select around, we already know what we want to use. Instead of this 620.00, we'll just put 500.00, right? And we select it. The problem with using that 500.00 is that it selects everything, right? So that's why I didn't want to use star format because it didn't recognize it. So it's better for you to use a value within your cell for conditional formatting if you don't want it to fail, essentially. So that was why I used the first formatting that I used. You go to conditional formatting, you select cells rules less than. Automatically it uses 620.00, but even with the 620.00, it's not working correctly. So make sure that whatever you are doing, you always use this thing. When you use this thing helps you with selection. That's what it does, so that your conditional formatting will work. So make sure that you are using this thing. When you use it, you want to select total price also less than probably 500. So I'll select the value that I want. Immediately I select the value, I will click on this thing back because I've been able to select my value. So once I select that, and I can change the color, can change the color to be green. You can see immediately I do that, automatically it gets filled up, right? So the places that are less than 500 are the ones that I highlighted essentially. So I believe that we have gotten that, true or false.
True.
Okay. Any other questions before we go into our classwork? It's time for our classwork. We are going into classwork now. So do you have any other questions?
No, ma.
Yeah.
Debola, you have a question. We have 20 questions and we have just how many minutes? Do you know I'm making us answer questions very fast so that we'll be able to get it?
Which question?
20 questions. You have, I think, 20 seconds per question. So that's like 400 seconds. Essentially. Calculate the minutes. So Debola, you wanted to ask me a question.
What is your question?
Debola, you wanted to ask me a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's your question?
I did not understand what the teachers.
What did you say?
I did not understand what the teachers.
Is that Debola?
Not
Debola, is that you? Hello, Debola, is that you?
No, ma.
Very good. Where were you before?
You can't answer the question. I was here.
All right. So essentially, we are going to start our questions now. It's just a quick class work before we jump into pivot tables. That's the next thing that we'll be seeing now. So we'll be jumping into pivot tables. All right. So let me see. I'll be sending you something very soon. Let me stop sharing my screen, and then yes, stop sharing. No, you won't be able to reattempt the question. So let's start our questions. 20 questions, 20 seconds per question. So let's answer as fast as we can. Where is it? Hope I'm still connected. Sorry, can everyone still hear me? I need to confirm if everyone can still hear me.
yes.
Yes, we can, ma.
Okay, amazing. That was because my internet just went off. I needed to confirm if you could still hear me. Alright. So continue. It controls space by three as again. Looking for this. Alright, so I'll be sending out the list. Just please pretty nice. What's like? Can't space. No, there's no okay. You attempt only once. Yes. So you will see the correct answer after each question, and that's intentional, right? So you also see your timer as well. Then let me add background music so that you can enjoy it. Yes. So let's continue. Do I need to create group? Start now. You create group. All right. So here is your link. Please get the link in the chat box. Let's go through it as fast as possible. Get the link in the chat box. I've sent it. Yeah, your link is in the chat box. So you You can join using any device essentially. No, this is more like it. Please use the second link. Don't use the first link I sent. Use the second link. I'm trying to delete the first link, but it's not deletable. Please use the second link. When you go through the second link, it will go directly to the game environment. So please, I'll also know when we've joined. So let's join quickly and let's do our classwork very quickly. Very, very quickly. Yeah, I'm waiting for us. Covenant, Debola, Stakasim. Please let's join. It's our classwork. It's not just a game, it's our classwork. Let's quickly do it.
Is that we need to sign up to play the link to play the game?
Sign up. No. And make sure that you didn't need to sign up before playing the game. Did you use the second link?
Yes.
Don't use the first link, oh, use the second link.
The second one.
Don't use the first link, use the second link instead. It's the first link that may require you to sign up, but not the second one. So use the second link. It's still redirecting to sign up. I made it so that you don't need to log in before. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me switch off that sign up functionality. Where is it?
Well,
Yes, Kolako. Yeah, I can see
probably
that
this
it's
is the
making
first
you
one.
sign up. I will change it so that you don't have to sign up. Kolako, you were saying?
Probably this is the first one because second one is already working fine. About already
Okay,
in the
but
game
it's
set.
requiring you to sign up, Abby.
No, no. I use the second link.
Oh, it's the second one that is requiring you to sign up.
No. I mean, the second one is going on fine. Probably the first one from the in-call message.
Oh, okay. Let me see. I don't know. I'm using another account, so and it's requiring that I sign up as well. Oh, just click on join a game. Don't use login. Click on join a game. So I've changed it again. I've changed that link again. Use the don't use the what's it called? Don't use the option. Don't just click on it. At the top. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Let me share my screen again and show you what I mean. Let me know where you can see my screen. So this option that I've sent you, I'm going to copy it, right? Copy link address. So um I'm going to show it here, right? This is another account that I'm using, right? So once I click on it, right, if I go there, this is where it will first to, but it will now redirect me to sign up, right? You don't necessarily need to sign up. At the top, you will see login and join the game. Just click on join the game. When you click join the game, it will ask you for code. When it asks you for a code, this is the code that you are looking for. Sorry. This is the code that you are looking for. Here is that quizzes. Yes, this is the code you are looking for. The code is already inside the link, but you may not be able to get it directly. It's 425834. So I'll go back there and press 425, and then I'll press 34. Then I'll click on join. Once I click on join, it will lead me to no, it's not supposed to be this is doing something funny. Kolako, did it ask you to sign up? Hello, Kolako, can you hear me?
Yes,
It's not supposed to ask you to sign
guys.
up. Did it ask you to sign up?
Um, yes, I'm trying to join the game actually.
Okay, so I don't like the idea that is asking you to sign up. You know what? I'll just
You know
paste your
what? I'll just
questions
pick
in
your
the
questions in
chat.
the
I want it to be
this
timed.
time.
I already switched
I
off
already
your
switched off
make
the option to make
participants
participants
sign up.
sign up.
Sorry. Let me see if I can switch it off again. It's not supposed to be doing this nonsense. We need to go to the game mode directly, but let's see. Require participant. I said no, don't require participant to sign in. It's not mandatory. Alright, please can we click on the link and just try to sign up so that we can start? The end it was going to ask us. The other one doesn't ask us to sign up. Actually, and we've tried this before, it didn't ask us to sign up. So, um, Alright, so we can click the second link. We want us to sign up. Oh, you know what? Okay. Let's do this. You have just 5 minutes to answer your classwork. So what I'm going to be doing is I will copy and paste your classwork. I don't want us to sign up. That's the problem. So I'll just copy and paste your classwork into your WhatsApp group. I want you to answer me as fast as possible. You have just 5 minutes to answer.
Ma,
5 minutes to answer.
Hmm?
I've not joined. No.
I'm
I'm
not
not
asking
asking
you
you
to
to
join
join in
already.
this time.
Ma, where
I
will
said
I
I
I
said I
will
send
will
my
paste it
paste it
as
classwork?
as
classwork.
classwork
Where will
It's
I?
inside
inside
your
your
WhatsApp
WhatsApp
group.
group.
Just
Just
inside your
inside your
WhatsApp
WhatsApp
group.
group.
I'm there already.
So answer the question as fast as possible. You have just 10 minutes for 20 questions, which means you're spending 30 seconds on one question. So I'll send it as PDF. So just check the PDF and answer the question. So click one classwork. So you have 10 minutes. Immediately it's 10 minutes. Any other questions that come in after that 10 minutes, I will not acknowledge your I will not acknowledge your answer. Where is it? All right. So make sure you don't leave this place as well. I'm timing you and you will hear a timer ring. Immediately your time is over. You're going to hear a timer ring. Immediately your time is over. So I've sent your question to WhatsApp group already. Download it. You have just 10 minutes. And immediately your 10 minutes is over, you will hear a timer ring, right? So make sure that you're answering as fast as possible. Have you all downloaded your questions? Have you downloaded your questions? I'm starting your timer. That's why I'm asking. What did you say? Have you downloaded your questions? So we'll go briefly into visualizations for today and then or pivot table rather. Then when we come next week, we will start another one. Covenant is typing. You both have started. Yeah, start answering your questions. Your timer has started. You have just 10 minutes. Start answering your questions. Or just to make it easier for you, maybe I should show you my screen or display my screen. Don't know how to make it easier, but that way is if you know that you don't want to be juggling between your screen, you can also see my screen so that you'll be able to see it well. I'll share my screen to get the question. So you can actually check my screen just to see your questions. You have less than 9 minutes. So your question has already been sent to the group. You have less than 9 minutes. All right, we have less than 4 minutes more. 3 minutes, 19 seconds left.
Actually,
We have 2 minutes left. In fact, less than two
where
minutes.
are we to send the answers to our WhatsApp group?
What did you say?
We send the answers to our WhatsApp group.
What did you say?
Should we send the answers to
Yes,
WhatsApp?
yes, yes. Your WhatsApp group, yes. All right, you have just 1 minute, 32 seconds left. Please make sure you're not copying another person's answer. So I'll delete for everyone and then when send it back when it's time. We have less than 1 minute left. Just anywhere you have attempted it to, you can start submitting now. Start submitting now. Anywhere you have attempted it to, just start submitting now. Because our timer will soon go off. Let's start submitting now. Alright. Kasim, well acknowledged. Anyway, we have attempted it, so please let's start submitting. Yeah, our timer is up. So I've gotten everybody's answers, right? I've gotten everybody's answers. So thank you very much. I got um everybody's answers. Don't worry, I've captured your answer. I've captured everybody. If I've deleted your message, don't worry, I've already captured your answer. I have it saved somewhere else already. Yes. Thank you very much. So let's go into pivot table. I will send us our results inside our DM, right? So everybody will know our results inside of our DM. I'm not going to send it in the general group. I've already picked up everybody's answers now. So yeah, so let's go directly into pivot tables. So we have pivot tables and we are going to be seeing what are pivot tables even used for and how can we actually go to. But I don't bother submitting again. No, the time is up. I've already picked up your answers and the time is up already. All right. So let's go into pivot tables, right? Okay, so can I see confirm? Can everybody see my screen? Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you. All right, so basically, we are going to be learning about pivot tables. What are pivot tables? what are they even used for? What can we use them for essentially? So now for us to actually understand pivot tables, we need to understand what we call structured data and raw data, right? So basically, what are structured tables and raw tables? So the difference between raw tables and structured tables is that inside of raw tables that have not been worked on. So if you remember, before we started cleaning this table earlier on, right? Before we started cleaning this table earlier on, if you remember very well, we had missing values, we had null values, we had a value that was not correct, and we had to put everything correctly. That previous data that we had before this is exactly what we call raw data. That is raw in data in a format that is not cleaned or edited is what we call raw data. But now, since we have our data nice and looking nice, we have cleaned up the missing values, we have presented our data correctly, everything is looking nice. This is what we call structured data, right? Data that has already been cleaned up essentially is what we call structured data, right? So I've already mentioned it. It has missing values, right? Missing values, they are inconsistent data types. Like this one can be assigned as text data, right? And different other things like that. But what are structured tables? Structured tables are actually organized. They don't have missing values. They have headers that are correct and clear. All the data types have been correctly placed in their correct, the type of data that is supposed to be, right? So before we can even start to create pivot tables or do anything at all, there's something that we need to know. And what do we need to know essentially? We must structure our table correctly and make sure that our table goes from being a raw data to a structured data before we can create a pivot table. Remember, I already mentioned that before we start any type of analysis, because a pivot table is also a type of analysis. So before we start any type of analysis, we must make sure that our data is clean. So why are they important? It makes it easy for us to sort and filter. Which we have actually seen, right? This data that we just saw is now easier to sort and to filter, right? What's another example? It actually enhances readability. This data that we just saw, sorry, let me close all these things up. So this data that we just saw, what's this? Okay. This data that we just saw, let me close all my hair. I want also have this side by side. This data that we just saw is readable. Anybody can just come into it and read it and understand what's going on inside of the data. What's another thing that it helps? It makes analysis very simple, right? And it helps us to prepare our data for preparing pivot tables as well. And it also ensures that we have correct calculations, which is very important when we are trying to do analysis. So the question now is, how do we even do how do we go ahead to actually do um what's it called now? How can we create pivot tables? That's the question, right? How do we even create pivot tables? So this is a step by step here. But I told you I'm not acknowledging your questions, right? It's the one that you submitted first that I'm acknowledging. So thank you for submitting, but at the same time, it's very important that you keep to time. Very, very important that you keep to time. So I'm not acknowledging the question that you just sent in. I really acknowledge the first one that you sent in. All right. So basically, how do we create pivot tables? I'm going to show us how we are going to create pivot tables. So this is just a step-by-step run through, right? Select your data, that is, select the data you want to use, including your header. Go to Insert tab, insert pivot sheet, new worksheet, drag and drop the following fields, categories into, the columns into, the values into, right? The filters into. Now we are going to be seeing how to create a proper what's it called, a proper pivot table. So I'm going to use a new data called the sales data, right? Please, so as much as possible, let's try to follow along what we are doing essentially. So I'm going to be creating a pivot table. So now, if you want to create a pivot table, what do you do? Now, this is a sales table, right? We have sales table that says unit price, total sales, unit sold, right? So it's just looking like the data that we had previously, very similar to the data that we had previously. So now let's go ahead and create a pivot table. So sorry, we need to, okay, this one has a name. So first and foremost, remember we mentioned that we need to make sure that our data is in correct format. So currently this one is in general, it's supposed to be date. So let's change it to short date. This is product. All this are actually supposed to be text. So let's make sure it's not just general. Let's make sure it's text, right? Unit sold is supposed to be a number. So let's make sure it's a number, right? So number, yes. And then we decrease the decimal point. Unit price is supposed to be in currency, right? Both unit price and total sales are supposed to be currency. We are going to be converting both of them to naira, essentially. So let's just convert the symbol from what it was to naira. Yes, and click OK. So once we have done that, we know that our data is ready to go, right? So now how do we create pivot tables? Very simple and straight to the point. So we select the data that we want to create the pivot tables for, right? After selecting it, you go to insert, right? Immediately when you go to insert, the first thing that you see is pivot table. So when you click on pivot table, you now click on from table slash range. So when you click on table slash range, make sure that what you want to insert, when you're inserting your pivot table, make sure that you're inserting it in a new worksheet. Don't use the present worksheet. So I'm going to be clicking on new worksheet and I'm going to be clicking on OK. So once I click on OK, it will automatically create a new worksheet by itself. You can already see sheet 1 that's automatically created a new worksheet by itself. So now what do we want to see in our pivot table, right? We can say, okay, you can see from where we are coming from. We can decide to summarize our product, right? We can decide to categorize our product and see, okay, based on each product or which region, we want to see which one even sold the most, right? Which region sold the most. So pivot tables helps us to be able to easily grab information from our data very fast. So this is exactly what we're going to be doing. We are going to be summarizing our sales by product and region. So what do? We go to product, right? You can see all these things that we want are here. So we go to product, we drag it to what? We drag it to rows. So just carry your product, select it. It's already in rows by itself, right? What do you do next? You remember that we want to see the total product that was sold per region, right? So we go to category, select category, right? And make sure that this your category is not actually showing here. So if it's showing here, if it's showing other rows, you can click down on this small arrow, right? Can I still confirm that everybody can see my screen?
Yes, ma.
Okay, very good. So you can click down on this small arrow. When you click down on this small arrow, it will show you that you can move it around, right? So I want to move this is that category?
Yes.
Oh, I was actually attempting to use region, not category. We don't want category, we want to see the total sales made by region. So I'm going to select region instead. So I will still go back under it again and select this small arrow under region, and I'll click on move to column labels. So once I click on move to column labels, it automatically goes to column. So you can already see column labels. This is east, this is north, this is south, this is west. Now what are the values that I want to see? We want to see total sales of different products per region. So which means total sales of different products. So you can already see sum of total sales, right, per region, right? So you can already see for the regions, you can already see grand total for each and every one of the regions. So if I ask you a quick question, which product sold most and which region sold most? Who can answer my question? So those are my two questions. Which product sold most and which region sold the most?
Tablets sold most. Tablets.
Yes, very good. Tablet sold the most because it sold 101,877.48 naira. Mr. Kasim, which region do you think sold the highest? They had the highest sales.
Not.
Are you sure, sir? Is there any other region? I think there are other regions that sold more than not. So we can actually see them here. These are the
Yes.
totals for all the
Yes.
regions.
West. Yeah,
Very
the
good.
West,
Yes, sir.
West region.
Exactly. West region sold the highest. They sold the highest of 264,600.9. So now this is a very quick data analysis that we have just done, right? So now, if anybody is now asking you, they can ask you, okay, based on the data that we've presented, you want to know which product sold the most. Then you'll be able to tell them, tablet sold the most. Okay, we know that tablet sold the most, but we also want to know the region that sold the most, and then we can tell them, okay, it's the west region that sold the most, right? So if I'm not asking this question, which product sold the most in the east region, what would be our answer? Which product sold the most in the east region?
It's still the tablet.
Very good, is the tablet. So Mr. Kasim, which product sold the most in the north region? Which product sold the most in
Smartphones.
the north?
Smartphone.
Smartphones. Exactly, smartphones. No, 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 there's a number that is bigger than smartphones.
Um,
So this is the north region. So Mr. Kasim, I want you to look at it again.
Head, yeah, headphone. Headphone.
Are you sure, sir? There's also a number that is bigger than the headphones.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Camera. Yeah. Portrait.
Very good. Camera. So cameras, so we are not, can you see how we are answering questions already? So I now start going into, like, let me say a document. I can go into like a Word document, right? So this is how we use Excel Office suites together. So I can go into a Word document, and these are the questions of my clients, right? They can ask. So we have been able to answer 3 questions so far, right? Let me switch this document. I don't want it to be this one. I want it to be this. Yes. Uh, yes. Selected. So the first question that we asked is, which product sold the most, right? That's our first question. Which region had the highest sales? That's our second question, right? Under each region, under each region, which product sold the highest? And then another question could be, across all regions, which product, which product um is doing really well in terms of sales, right? I can now ask a question based on the answers above. Based on the answers above, advise your client, and then I will show us. So I've been able to successfully answer this question as to which product sold the most, and we know that our answer is, you already said, is the across all regions. Okay, let me divide my screen so that I'll be able to see the answers. So we already said, okay, products that sold the most across all regions is tablet. So in this place, we are going to write our answer as what? Tablet, right? Then we asked which region had the highest sales, right? Then we are going to write our answer as what? The west region, right? West region. Then the next question is, under each region, which product sold the highest? So we are going to, can we answer that question? Under each region, which product sold the highest under each region? So under east, you have already said which one sold the highest, tablets. Under east region, right? Tablets sold the highest. Then under the north region, camera sold the highest, right? Then under the south and west region, which product sold the highest? Under the south and the west, which product sold the highest? Covenant.
West. The West is the speaker.
Okay, under West. Mr. Kasim, under South, which product sold the highest?
Laptop.
Very good. The speaker sold the highest. And under the South region, under the South region, laptop sold the highest. Very good. Laptop sold the highest. So can we see how we can answer our clients' questions? So these are ways that we can answer our client's question. Now, the last question that the client is asking us is that across all region, which product is doing really well in terms of sales? So what do we do is to look at, okay, across all regions, we have all those products, right, that are selling. Then we take a look at all the regions and say, okay, the one that is selling the highest is around tablets here, the one that is selling the highest is around camera here, the one that is selling the highest TSF is laptop, the one that is selling the highest here is speaker, right? So they seem to be very different. In that regard, if you are having that sort of confusion in that regard, what do we do is to look under each region, the products that are selling the highest, and just mention that under each region the product, and don't focus on regions that have empty. Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell us. If you see regions where products have empty rows, just keep that row, right? Because you're trying to look for the products that has the highest sales across each region. So for example, now under camera, east and south is empty, so we are going to keep it automatically. Go to headphones, right? Under headphones, essentially headphones on this one is 5,180, this one is 40,000, this one is 2,225, under West is 34,000. We don't want that one. So under keyboard, we are not going to go to keyboard because in West it's not even selling at all. Under laptop, you go to laptop, look at the sales. Laptop does not really seem to be doing well. Now, in that essence, we will advise our clients that is not based on which products are doing well in terms of sales across all regions, because there can't be that particular product that is doing well across all regions, as we must have noticed across our data. You can say printer is still doing good, but it's not doing as well as expected. You can still say the smartphone is still doing good, but it's not really doing as well as expected, right? We can see smartphone is really selling well across all regions, right? Because it has a high number across all regions. So yeah, we can advise the client, okay, across all regions, smartphones still seems to be selling well, but then we would advise that across all regions, more what do you call it now, and more customer targeted sales should be done around other products that are not doing well across all regions. So essentially, we have advised the client wanted to know that which product is even doing the highest. I've already told us, if you already see a place that is empty, just ignore it. For example, this place is empty. Since that these people are not selling what we need here. But now what do? Focus on the other rows, right? Focus on the other rows and the other products that don't have empty rows. If you need to highlight them so that you can focus on them, right? Highlight them so that you can focus on them and objectively take a look at the number. You are seeing a number as low as 388 here. You know that no, this thing is not doing well as regards to, or as it relates to the other ones. You are seeing a number that is 2,222 5.4 here. No, you know this one is not doing well as well. She has seen this kind of number here as well. 3,185 is still in the small thousands. You are seeing another number that is still in the small thousands, right? It's 6,930. Then in this place also, you can see 549.89. But the one that you have to target the most is the one that at least all of them are in their upper thousands. And that one is smartphone. So you can easily tell your clients, well, across all regions, I can tell you that smartphone is selling well, but then at the same time, just increase your marketing around other products that are not doing well. Do we now get how we can do analysis?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Mr. Kasim, did you get how we can get do analysis now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Very good. So that's actually how we advise our clients: do this, don't do this, do this, don't do that, don't do this, do that, do this, don't do this, right? So we are stopping at calculations. How do we even perform calculations in the first place? They are very simple. So we want to perform basic calculations, right? So we want to know, okay, how do we actually how do we summarize our data? So I'm going to be sending you this class note as well, so that when you're reading up in your spare time, you'll be able to go through each and every one of them. And sorry, excuse me, you'll be able to go through each and every one of them, right? And then you'll be able to work around it. So we want to perform calculations on the total sales, right? This is the sales that we have. So I'm going to be opening my pivot table again. Yeah, open up. Pivot table analyze, yes. Where's my pivot table? To create another pivot table. Um, sorry, just a minute. Okay. Yes, value sheet settings. Exactly. All right. So the next thing that we want to do now is we want to summarize and do calculations, right? Based on our values, right? So what do? Right click on a value in a pivot table, right? And do what? Do sum, do average, do count. So that's just what we are going to be doing. So you select the value that you want to summarize by, right? So these are our values. You can now do a right click on it. When we do a right click on it, you will see summarize by, or you see value field settings if you want to see value field settings, right? So you can do custom, you can do sum, right? What is the sum? If you want to summarize your data essentially, right? You can start doing all those things. So let's say we wanted to summarize by, let's say we wanted to summarize by sum. Yeah, we are currently seeing summarizing our values by sum. So, and also when we did sum as well, please, I want us to know that we can also change it. If we don't want sum, we will just go to do summarize values by, then we can choose average. Immediately you choose average, you will notice that the values have changed from sum to average. So just in case you meet that in your assignment, please know I can also ask you to summarize by maximum. It will change to maximum as well, right? So essentially just look at how you can summarize and go through all these things, right? So let's say we want to summarize this west field, right? You want to, sorry, yeah, we'll select. All right. So let's say we actually want to do the settings of this field, right? We want to do the what is it called? We want to do the region name, right? The West region. Come on, stop doing that. Okay, so we want to do the sum details. So we click on value field settings, right? So currently we are seeing sum of total sales. Now, if you want to summarize that specific West, we don't want to summarize it by sum. And I want you to know that you can actually summarize it by any other thing. And remember that you just selected West, you did not select any other thing. So you wanted to select the West region and you want to summarize it by average. So you will right click on it and go to average, then you will do okay. You will notice that everything you will notice that you have 21,624 year. You will notice that you have 4,974 year, right? You will notice, okay, before I even answer, I want us to actually answer the questions by ourselves. So after we selected West, what changed? I want us to see what changed by ourselves. I want us to answer that question by ourselves. After, remember, I was only applying West. I thought I only selected West, and I clicked on value field settings, Abby, and I clicked on average, and I clicked on OK. But something changed. So what's changed after I selected this west? Who wants to help us with the answer? I'm doing it again so that we can see it, right? So, Mr. Kasim and Covenant, after we changed it to average, what changed? What are the things that changed after we changed it to average?
The value changed.
How many values?
All.
Mr. Kasim is saying something. Okay, so if we take a look at it very well, we'll notice that all the values changed. All the values changed. So immediately I selected, even though it was as if it was west, if I do the same thing to south and I say, okay, value field settings, I want the average of total sales, right? I want it to be average of total sales. But this time around, I don't want the average. I just want the sum. Can go back to sum and click on OK. And all the values will change. Can we see how all the values actually changed? So you can select any one of them, select the summarization technique, right? And you'll be able to see what you need to see as much as possible, right? So I want to ask a quick question. And also another thing that I want to quickly show us, so I've already shown us how to do this, right? Summarize values by. Now, another thing that we can do actually um is to actually show value as. So we can show value as the percent of the grand total. We can show value as percent of column total, right? So it's also available. What we just have to do is click on any value, and then we'll show this. We will see this thing. Show values as. If I click on percent of sum total, we will notice that everything has changed to percent. So this one is 0.07%. So even if we want to see the products that made the highest sales and we don't want to keep looking at the numbers, you can just look at, oh, tablet at 31.65% sales. Oh, that's true. That's true. Do we get it now?
Yes, ma'am.
So we can show values as percent of grand total. We can decide to show values. Remember, I'm currently showing values as percent of column total. But if I want to show it as percent of grand total, what do? I select percent of grand total. So it's showing values now as the percent of the grand total as well, right? So do we understand?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Kasim, did you understand? Hello, Mr. Kasim, are you still with us? We are rounding class up in the next 4 minutes. I think we are done
Yeah.
with class 4. But did you understand what we did? Sorry, Mr. Kasim, I heard you speak now. You said something.
Yes, yes, yes. I got
Okay,
you right.
amazing. All right, amazing. So that's just how we do summarize. That's how we do percent of grand total, and that's just the different things that we can also do. So the next time we go to data visualization. Well, data visualization is not actually plenty, but I want us to see how we can do data visualization, even using pivot charts, so that we can start doing different data by ourselves. We can start previewing. We can start doing what is it called now? We can start doing visualizations and practicing with visualization. So if you want to do visualization, select your pivot chart, click on insert, then go on that chart. And first, I would always advise you to start with the recommended chart. When you start with the recommended chart, you will see a number of charts that it has recommended for you. Right? Even on that line, you will see that it has recommended something. Even if you go on that pie chart, you will see the recommendation it has also given as well. So start with recommended chart. So I'm going to be starting with all the recommended across all areas so that we can see the beautiful thing that we can create. So this is what I'm going to be doing. Recommended chart. I'll click on recommended chart, right? And this it has different formats. You can see it has different formatting. So what I'm going to be using is just this stacked column, right? I can either use this start column or this one, but I think I like this start column. So I'll select OK, right? And then I'll copy this, right? And then I'll go and place it back inside a new place, right? I'm trying to create a very soft dashboard. Just notice what I'm doing, right? So this is what I also want you to practice. I'll go to recommended charts again. Remember, my pivot table is already selected. I'll go to recommended charts again. Go to the next one, which is a line chart. It's showing me the different types of line charts that I can have, right? This is stacked line chart. This is an ordinary line chart. So I'm going to be using stacked line chart, right? So I'm going to be clicking on OK. Once I click on OK, to also insert it, I will Control X it and place it beside here. Now I want you to see what I'm doing. See, I'll go to, in this space, right? I'll go to view. Another view, I will switch off grid lines so that it'll be looking like what we call a dashboard, right? I'm already teaching you how to design a chart, right? You notice what I did. I went under grid lines and switched off grid lines, right? So just practice with it. I will do the rest of it as well. Go to recommended chart as well. Recommended chart is under insert. So click on recommended chart as well, right? And do another one, right? So I've done line charts. Let's do pie charts next, right? This pie chart is looking nice, but I don't like it, right? It's looking too. So we are going to be selecting this one, right? You can see it's giving you different recommendations. So we are going to be selecting this one and I'm going to be clicking on OK, right? So we're going to copy it and paste it here. You're going to copy it and paste it here as well, right? So that our charts will be beside each other. And if you're asking questions, yeah, can we indent our chart? Of course, we can format our chart. So I'm going to even be decreasing this to make sure that I can see all my chart all at once. So just practice with it. Do different types of charts. You can do different types of things, right? You can design your dashboard. You can do different things. And immediately you are seeing one thing about using pivot table to plot charts is that you'll be able to do this, right? You'll be able to filter directly. You can see I'm filtering. I filter to east and it's affecting all my pivot table, is affecting all my charts, right? That's the beautiful thing. So I can tell it not to include blanks and I'll click on OK. So it will remove all the blanks and leave all the rest of them, right? So your assignment now is that I'll be giving you this data and I'll be releasing the video. So your assignment is to actually go through all the recommended charts here, right? Create the pivot table the way we created it in class. Go to insert here, click on recommended charts. Use all of the recommended charts that are here, right? Some will not have recommended charts. So you notice that I'm clicking so funnel does not have a recommended chart. That's because it cannot work with funnel. Waterfall does not have. Box and Whisker does not have. Histogram does not have. Sunburst too does not have. That's because they work with a specific type of data, right? And the data that we are working with, they cannot do it for that. So go under the ones, the all the recommended charts that are available and use them to create a dashboard, just like we started doing. The ones that are available, just make use of them, practice with them, use them to create a dashboard. So which means, yeah, and create a dashboard like this that is looking this nice, right? Create a dashboard that is looking this nice. You can make it colored, format it, format your chart, work around your chart. In case you don't know how to work around your chart, you are just using that to prepare for next class. So in case you don't know how to work around your chart, what do? Immediately you select a chart, right? You will get to this point. You will see design. Immediately you see a chart, you will see design, right? And you see the different designs that you can use. You can give it a background color, right? You can change the colors here to make it even more colorful. I can change it to these colors, right? So you saw that immediately I changed it, the color also changed, right? So you can also change the layout. You can see the different types of layouts are available. As I'm selecting a layout, you can see that the layout is changing, right? You can see a reflection of it changing. So that's what I want you to do with your assignment, right? I want you to actually just go ahead and also insert a header. And this is how you insert an header. So I will select all of these. I'll select row 1 to row 2 and select, okay, I'll select row 1 and row 2 so that no matter where my data goes. Then after I've selected row 1 and row 2, I'll now go to home and then I'll now click on what? I'll click on merge and center. This is the symbol you need. Merge and center. Immediately you click on merge and center, you'll now be able to type. Make sure that this header, make sure that you select it to at least 20 or something that will make it very visible. Then change something, make it change the font too. You can make it bold, right? I'll make it this and make spaces, and then I will now say sales product dashboard. So immediately I do that, then I can now change the background color, do different other things with it, right? You can already see the sales products dashboard. So immediately I did that. I can also do different things, right? I can decide, okay, I want it to be highlighted, right? I want it to be formatted somehow. Just design, do different things with it, make it look nice, make it look great. You can say I can change the colors, I can change different other things that I want to change there. I can change this color, I can change it to red now if I want to change it to red, right? And just practice, do different things with it, make it look nice, essentially, right? Design it, make it look nice, make it look very great. Add borders if necessary, do different things that you want to do. At the end of the day, just give me a dashboard. That's what I want to work with at the end of the day. So do we have any questions before we close class? Any questions at all?
No, ma.
Any questions? Okay, I'm assuming that there are no questions at all. So I'll be ending class for today, right? I will be ending class for today, right? So let's just practice with what we have, and I'll be expecting our assignment. I'll be expecting our assignment. Please, 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 no matter what we do, let's submit our assignment, right? So thank you very much. I'll be sending you the recording. I'll upload it on YouTube both last week and this week. You'll be getting the recordings, right? I'll be sending us our scores in our DM. So thank you once again, right? And thank you for being in today's class. I'll send you the data. You create a pivot chart from it, and that will be your assignment. Please submit by latest Friday. Latest Friday. So thank you so much for coming to class today. Let's see again next week by Saturday. Let's have a lovely, lovely, lovely weekend.
Okay, ma.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kasim. Thank you, Covenant.
Okay, bye. Thank you so much.
Goodbye. You're welcome.